Folks gathering today to remember the day public enemy number one was tracked down in Bangor.
It's the 86th anniversary of the Brady Gang Shootout in downtown Bangor. On October 12, 1937, the search for Al Brady, Clarence Schaefer, and James Dallover came to an end when an FBI trap turned into a shootout. Brady and Schaefer were shot and killed, and Dallover was taken into custody. Local history buffs have marked the occasion over the years to educate new generations and reflect on a time that was rough for communities across the country.
To me, it's a very highly interesting story. I wasn't born then, but the Depression brought out such strange behavior in people. I doubt if he would have done all he did, robbing and killing, if it hadn't been Depression times. And the good people probably wouldn't have done what they did either, you know. So it's fascinating, the fashion, the way that Bangor reacted to this whole thing.
Brady's body was never claimed and was buried here in Bangor. Today's event concluded with a small ceremony at his gravesite.